On today's show, we talk college hoops, Texas football, and interview TCU unscripted host Ethan Love. Also, don't forget about our weekly pick'ems. We got all this and more coming up on the 1-0 Sports Show.
Texas finally 1-0, finally riding for the brand.
And I'm getting back on my soapbox saying that if they just hit and rap and drive, then that play doesn't happen.
You heard it here first from Hunter. Book your plane tickets to Omaha today.
But we're not done yet.
No, shot. You're not serious.
Are you kidding me? So that's the third time.
That's terrible. Did you believe this was possible at the beginning of the season?
Oh, I always believe.
Always drink the Kool-Aid.
That's all I'm doing for the Cowboys right now.
Today's show is brought to you by Cap Metro, Austin's public transit system. We connect you to work, school, play, and everywhere in between. Plan your ride to this weekend's game at capmetro.org. I'm joined by my co-host today, Michael. How are you doing today, Michael?
I'm doing all right. A little chilly day, a little rainy yesterday.
Chilly.
It was, I think we're starting to finally fall into that fall-winter season, so I'm kind of excited for that. But, other than that, I'm having a good morning. How about yourself?
I'm having a great morning, ready to do some 1-0. But let's start off today with who's hot, who's not. Michael, who is your who's hot this week?
I think my who's hot team has to be the 76ers. They dropped their first game to the Bucks to start the season by 1 point, and after that they've won their last 6. They're number one in the East with a win over Boston last week. Joel's having another MVP-type season. He already is averaging 32 and 11, also with 3 blocks. And then Tyrese Maxey is leading the team in assists at 7. I mean, this team has played. I mean, you can argue they've always been a regular season team. They've kind of struggled in the playoffs, but I mean, it's something they always find a way to be a top contender in the East. And then also Tyrese Maxey said in a press conference that no one on this team has an ego. Now I don't know if that's a shot at James Harden now that he's gone. I don't want. I'm not putting words in anyone's mouth here, but I think the 76ers are who's hot for me.
How about who's not for you?
My who's not is the Lakers, and as much as it pains me to say it, that team has not lived up to any expectations I thought they were going to have going into the season. I thought they had a really good offseason, bringing in some top-tier talent, and at the end of the day, they became mediocre, especially with Anthony Davis always kind of being injury-prone and being out of the league. They just dropped a game. They got blown out by the Rockets of all teams in the last game. They're 3-5. They're last in their division, and I think they're 10th or 11th in the West. It's not looking good. LeBron, as always, is putting up LeBron numbers even in year 21. I mean, without him on the floor, they're always in the minus. Usually when he's on the floor, they're in the positive. So, I mean, it just sucks that he has to play so many numbers. And then, obviously, with Jared Vanderbilt still being out kind of helps. The team's not completely healthy, but right now, it's still early in the season. They got to find a way to flip it around, but I don't know what they can do right now. Yeah. But right now, they're not looking too hot.
Hopefully, the Lakers can turn around. For my who's hot, who's not, I'm going to take it over to the NFL. For my who's hot, I have the Cincinnati Bengals. They started the season 1-3, and they've railed off 4 straight wins. Joe Burrow is fully healthy from this calf injury, and he looks good out there. He's scrambling, accurate passes. Their offense is now firing on all cylinders, and the Bengals, they kind of do this to us every single year, right? They started last year. They started the season 1-2. Then they made it all the way to the AFC Championship game. So it's good to see this for the Bengals. They're once again emerging as an early Super Bowl contender in the AFC. And for Joe Burrow, this may be the year where he can finally, I guess you could say, surpass Patrick Mahomes, but maybe just beat him in another AFC Championship game. Big steps for the Bengals. They're out there having fun. They've got the Houston Texans coming up this weekend. Bengals looking pretty hot. But my who's not, if the Bengals are looking hot, the Colorado Buffaloes are cold. They are ice cold. After they started the season 3-0, the Colorado Buffaloes have now lost 5 out of their last 6 games, and they are staring down the barrel of losing out on a bowl game with their next 3 games upcoming against number 21 Arizona this week, then going on the road to face Washington State, and then ending off the season on the road against number 18 Utah. This is a tough sled for the Colorado Buffaloes. I mean, they started the season well off, but their offensive line has been atrocious. Shedeur Sanders is the most sacked quarterback in college football. Their O-line gives up 5.1 sacks a game. And, it's tough to see for Coach Prime. He's obviously out there looking a little bit sad today. But, so Colorado, they start off the season as hot as flame. They're now ice cold. But let's move on to what's trending. College hoops, they're officially underway. So what is the big upset in your opinion, Michael?
I'm going to have to move over to women's basketball with LSU dropping a game to Colorado. Now, listen, Colorado's ranked in the top 20, so that's not a bad team. But LSU was number 1. They're defending champions. They just brought in more talent, Haley Van Leef. So, I mean, I don't know how this team goes at home too and drop it by double digits. So I mean it's tough to see. Women's basketball is a lot different than men's basketball. Usually the best team, the top 5 teams, are the powerhouses, and they're gonna make the deepest run in the tournament. So to see this team kind of start off sluggish is interesting. I mean, they came back and they won by almost 50 points against a Queens college. So I mean, obviously they're still going to be a dominant team. They're still going to kind of take the reins probably in the SEC. But to see them drop their first game after being the defending champions by double digits was interesting to see. But I do think that they will find a way to turn around and still be a contender for March Madness.
Yeah, that's crazy. They had all that offseason hype. Angel Reese, she's very vocal. You add Haley Van Lith, arguably the best player in college basketball, in women's college basketball last year, and they lose the season opener. Pretty crazy. But for my upset, I'm going to head it back over to the men's side, where I had James Madison University, the Dukes. They went into East Lansing and they beat Michigan State in overtime 78-74. Michigan State is the first top 5 AP team to lose in their home opener since 2001, and it was also the 7th loss that Tom Izzo has ever had in a season opener, also losing to Mark Byington, the JMU head coach, who is in fact his nephew. How odd is that? Family ties right there. But JMU, this has just been a great year for them overall for their athletics program. They're 9-0 in football. Their soccer team just won the national championship.
Oh, Jesus.
And with this win, this propels them right back into, this is like March and November. But they are predicted to win their Sun Belt Conference. And this is just great to see for college basketball. Always fun to watch upsets. Good teams like JMU, they're always fun to watch. But yeah, we've had some crazy upsets so far.
I mean, I'm thinking the biggest thing with Michigan State is I think Izzo's starting to the game's getting too fast for him. He's an old coach. He's a legend. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But you can see that it might be his time to maybe kind of step down after the season, maybe look at something further
Same
into his
thing
life.
Yeah, we've seen with some of these college basketball coaches not able to keep up with the transfer portal. But unfortunate to see. Hopefully they can pick it back up. Moving on to some college football, our favorite team right here on this show. We have the Texas Longhorns, currently ranked 7th in the college football playoff rankings. With 3 weeks left to go, do you think they will be able to make it into the playoffs?
I'm really glad that we have this question on here because there's a lot you can say about this. Look, I can't say they control their own destiny. I think they need some chaos to happen. I think they're going to let the winner of the SEC go, whether that be Georgia or Alabama. So, I mean, even though we have the head-to-head over Alabama, I think if they can find a way to beat Georgia, they'll slip in. Obviously, the winner of the Big Ten is going to go, which I think is – I don't like seeing that every year because they don't really play anybody until they play each other.
Agreed.
So, I mean, but obviously they're going to put the winner of the Big Ten. And then the Pac-12, I think the Pac-12, the 2 highest teams, Oregon and Washington, have shown enough this year that they will go winner of that. I really don't think Oregon's a better team than Alabama or Texas because they've only played one. They have one win over a team that's above 500. The loss of Washington, a win over Utah. So I mean, but I still think they'll take the winner of the Pac-12. And the biggest kind of mix-up will be Florida State. Now, I mean, I think if you can't not let an undefeated Florida State go, I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, they've shown that they're a powerhouse in the ACC this year. But I also think that they're kind of I don't know, they beat LSU earlier in the year. I think LSU's top 20 right now. So I think it's maybe not the most impressive win anymore. But, I mean, I think if they win out, they go. I think there can be some madness in the swamp when they finish their season off against Florida. But I think if Florida State drops a game, Texas will be that team that slips in.
Yeah, I really agree with that last point about Florida State. I think if there's one team that Texas could take their spot, it is the Florida State Seminoles. And I think when you look, so to answer the question, first of all, I say yes, I think Texas can make the playoff. I think we control our own destiny by just winning out. That's all you got to do is you got to just win out from now to the Big 12 championship game, win and decisively also. We can't have any more close ones like we did against Kansas State. But I think that this committee has shown that they will put us over teams like they will put us over Alabama, who we beat in the head-to-head. And that's who I was kind of worried about because if Alabama managed to win out and they beat Georgia, I think we would still get in over them. But we definitely need some chaos. Texas, they just need to win out. This committee, it's kind of tough with them. So it's tough to understand what they value, if it's the resume, if it's the eye test. But when we look at Texas resumes, you got the 8th best strength of schedule, and our wins have been adding up, stacking. So like we beat Alabama, we beat 5 teams ranked over 500 compared to other teams like Ohio State, who had some good wins on their resume early in the season, like Notre Dame and Penn State, but are kind of slowly dropping down into lower tier wins. So I think Texas still has a great shot at it. We obviously all hope that they could get in, but it's kind of nerve-wracking to even talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with this team is they need to find a way to stop blowing leads. They went up 21 on Houston, blew that, came down like in overtime. That one didn't go OT.
Came down to a last
end of the game possession, and then they were up 17 on Kansas State, and that dropped down to a close game. So yeah, I mean, it just comes down to what the team is, but yeah.
Yeah. Coming up on our B block, you do not want to miss it. We will have Grabriel on to judge our best highlights of the week. Don't miss it. Coming back on the 1-0 Sports Show. And welcome back to the 1-0 Sports Show. We have Grabriel Silva on to judge some highlights. How are you doing this morning, Grabriel?
Feeling pretty good. Yep.
Feeling
just
good?
Some highlights.
All right, well, let's get right into it. Michael, who did you have for your college football play this week?
I kind of went with the homer pick with C.J. Baxter's cut for his long touchdown against Kansas in their win against Kansas State. I mean, I'm a big C.J. Baxter fan, so I really like this play. I mean, it was an interesting play call. He makes that first cut, and that cut was the deciding cut. So, I mean, he got a big about 6-yard run right there. I mean, he beats his first man off the move when he kind of cuts back inside. So, I mean, the game that they should have won by more. I'm a big C.J. Baxter fan. I'm a big believer in his what he's going to bring to this team coming up, and I like that move, especially because he kind of broke his defender off a little bit there, and that's exactly what he needed to do. He beat the one man he needed to beat, so that's what I went with there.
Yeah, that's a great play, great win for the Texas Longhorns. For my pick, I had USC this week, USC against Washington. If we could get it up there, here we go with the double flea flicker. I guess not a double flicker, but Caleb Williams delayed handoff. Zachariah Branchy runs for a long time and then flips it back to Caleb Williams, and the receiver is wide open down the field. That delay, it was such a good fake by the offensive lineman not to get upfield for the Heat. Zachariah Branchy ran around got some time. But this delay is just crazy. Definitely fooled the Washington defense. And for Caleb Williams, and Lincoln Riley, they're always doing stuff like this. It's a shame that they don't have a better defense because they could be a serious contender. And too bad for Caleb Williams, but that was my highlight of the week. Grabriel, who do you think won this one?
I'm going to go with the USC flea flicker. It was really creative. Came in a big spot. That at the time it was a ranked matchup against Washington. Caleb Williams gave it his all this past weekend, and this type of play, it really helped out in their chances to try and win.
Yeah, great play in my opinion. But anyways, moving on to the NFL play of the week. I'll start this one. This week I had the Texans running back. The Texans kicker actually started the game off, and then he got injured. He pulled his hamstring, and their running back came in and made a field goal right here. This is just crazy. I mean, I wish I had gotten the clip of him warming up in the halftime, but during halftime, I think he was kicking it, and it was going like 20 yards, but they had to go for two twice. They had to go for two 3 times on their kicks because they didn't have a kicker, but they had to bring him in this game. In this situation, it was like, all right, we need 3 points, might as well send him out there. He drills it. That's pretty impressive for me. Not something you see every day. The guy's been in the league for 7 years. He's their third-string running back. Comes in, kicks a field goal to give them the lead, and they went on to win that game. Great performance by C.J. Stroud, the Texans. But that was my play. I think that was pretty remarkable. Michael, who'd you have this week?
I had to go with after the Chargers win over the Jets. I had Keenan Allen reach his 10K career yards with this catch that he just kind of flipped. He kind of rolled onto. It was a one-handed catch that he kind of rolled onto. So he went up there, snagged it, and kind of rolled around. And I think I like this catch strictly because it was difficult first of all, but it was also so memorable strictly because it was his 10-yard. It's a milestone in his career. He kind of flips around, he rolls under it. He never puts 2 hands on the ball. That's what I find pretty impressive. He grabs it and he kind of just keeps it tucked under his body. Never really puts 2 hands on the ball. He reached 10K yards there. I think that was pretty impressive. It kind of it's kind of a fun thing there, but that's what I went with. Yeah.
10,000 yards, big milestone for a kicker. Grabriel, or for a wide receiver, sorry. Grabriel, who'd you have on this one?
I'm going to go with Mike's highlight here. Keenan Allen's one-handed catch is really spectacular. And, like he said, doing it for such a great milestone as 10,000 yards. I mean, he's going to tell his kids that, oh, yeah, for my 10,000th yard, I made a one-handed catch. So I think that's the best highlight.
Dare you go Wambale. He was snubbed in this round. But moving on to college hoops highlight. Michael, who did you have this week for your college hoops highlight?
I have to go with Shadell Weaver in UT's opener against his putback in UT's opener against an Incarnate Word. Kind of a missed lob here. He goes up there, kind of just grabs and throws it down. They're already blowing him out, but I mean, it's great to see what this team's going to be, especially what they did in the transporter. They brought in some good guys. I think it's going to make this team pretty exciting to watch this year. I'm excited to watch them. I thought that was a pretty good play, and that's what I had to go with.
Yeah, great to see the team get such a big win after a close scrimmage against St. Edwards. For my college basketball highlight, I'm going to move back to a team we talked about just 5 minutes ago, James Madison University. They are down 5 with 3.8 seconds. When Noah Friedel turns around and he hits this 3 to make it a 2-point game. If we can see the replay of this, I mean, this is almost like Kevin Love to LeBron way back in the day, 2017. Turns around, hits it right in his face, makes it a 2-point game. But you're wondering, all right, what is JMU going to do? They're still down 2, only 1 second left. Ken State inbound the ball, and that's an offensive foul. Gives the ball right back to JMU on the baseline with a chance to tie the game. And Friedel, again, he cuts in, hits the layup, ties the game. The Dukes would go on to win in overtime. That is my college basketball highlight for this week. Grabriel, who's going to win this one?
I'm going to go with the JMU sequence of events. The long pass down the court, getting a clutch 3. I mean, if he misses that, the game's over, right? And then somehow getting an offensive foul on the inbounds. And, then on the ensuing inbounds, he's wide open underneath the floor. And it was just crazy sequence of events, so I'm going to have to go with the JMU play.
Chances of that happening were very little, but how about JMU? We talked about them earlier. Great athletic season for them so far. Hopefully they can keep it rolling. Let's move into our worst ref mistake or biggest blooper. Mike, who did you have on this one?
All right, so I have Curry. So Curry I think he got fouled by Kanavius Caldwell-Pope against the Nuggets. He got obvious foul. He took it as a take foul, so he grabbed the ball. He kind of just walked over the opposing free throw line, just put it down and waited. He just put it down. He waited for his shots. He just sat there, and then obviously you'll see at the end the ref comes over. They agree, yeah, it was a take foul. It was an intentional foul. So he gets free throws. The ref goes over there. I think he gives him a little word. He gives him a little, you shouldn't have done it like this, blah blah blah. But he went over there, and now he's about to shoot his free throws. So I thought that was a pretty funny play in my opinion. That he kind of after he knew what the foul was, so he just grabbed the ball and put it right there, and then he just waited for his shots. I thought that was pretty funny. So that was my biggest kind of blooper thing.
Definitely a little funny. Curry's always goofing off out there. For my ref mistake, I had Giannis getting ejected.
This is funny.
Giannis with a Euro step dunk right on Isaiah Stewart's head, and he stares him right in the eyes, tells him, "I just dunked all over your face." And then he's hit with a tee, and that was his second technical of the game, so he's ejected. Giannis takes a seat on the bench. He asks, the ref, "Why'd you give me a tech for that?" And, especially with the refs, you got to know if it's a superstar like Giannis. He already has one. You don't need to give him a second, especially for something so little like this. He just, give him a little stare down, told him he's a little too little, which is part of the game, man. And for a superstar like Giannis, you can't eject a guy like that. The NBA refs, a little soft. They need to harden up and just let these players play out there. It's nothing to ruin a game for. Keep them in the game. Let's keep it rolling. Let's all have fun. I had that as my worst ref mistake. Grabriel?
I'm gonna go with the Giannis ejection. Also, he's just playing the game of basketball. He dunks all over somebody. Who doesn't get hyped after you dunk on somebody?
Yeah.
And to tee him up after he already had one is not a good move in hindsight. Some family out there went there watching Giannis dominate, and he's out in the middle of the third quarter. So it's not a good look. So I have to go with that. That was a pretty bad mistake.
Yeah, that's a great point right there. The fans play to see these players. But, all right, moving into our best NBA play of the week after maybe some of the worst ones. Who did you have for this week, Mike?
All right, so I'm already down 3-1. I can't win this week.
We have some
But
conflicting
this one's
patterns.
funny because I was gonna pick something else until I saw what you put. You put Dylan Brooks locking up LeBron, and I said no. I got LeBron babying Dylan Brooks here in the paint. He said, "Give me the ball. You're a child. Move, layup, easy, bucket. You're a kid. Get off of me." It'll show you right here. It will show. Yep. Move. Yep. Plant your feet, bud. Plant your feet. Nope. Can't do that. Yep. Too big. Easy. Bucket. You're a baby. We're done. That's what I went with there because LeBron's the greatest ever step on the court, and Dylan Brooks thinks he's just the greatest defender on LeBron for some reason. He's lucky he's playing old LeBron. He ran to Miami LeBron or young Cleveland LeBron. Oh my God, he'd give him 100. But that was just that's my play of the week.
Well, I had the next possession in the game. The next possession in the game. Dylan Brooks, we get it right here, pokes the ball away from LeBron. Says, all right, LeBron says, "Give it back to me." Dylan Brooks says, "All right, this is no problem." He's right there, stays with him, and LeBron turns it over. Love that excitement from Dylan Brooks. Love what the young Rockets are doing. Just look at this replay. Look at the energy. LeBron, old man, turns it over right out of bounds. And Dylan Brooks, some people question the Rockets signing him. I, myself, as a Rockets fan, I questioned it. I wasn't exactly sure why they paid him $80 million.
Yeah.
But they've been coming through a lot this year. 4 games in a row winning streak for the Rockets after a 30-point win against the Lakers. They might be a playoff team this year, but Grabriel, who'd you have winning this one? I know we've already got the winner, but...
Well, both plays weren't, very exciting, but, I'm going to have to pick my king LeBron.
Yes.
I have to go with LeBron here. He, bodied Dylan Brooks, pushed him straight down the paint, and he showed him, true physicality.
Oh yeah.
And I'll have to go with LeBron right now.
Yeah, because Dylan Brooks he loves physicality, right? He loves it, right? That's what he wanted. That's what he wanted out of LeBron. Okay, so you'll get it then, dog.
Rockets won the game, though. But, all right, thank you for tuning into this block. In our next block, we will have executive producer of TCU's Unscripted Show, sports editor Ethan Love, on to talk some TCU football. Thank you for watching, or tune back in to our next segment to see more coming up on the One and No Sports Show.
17 rings of 2.
Joining us now is executive producer of Unscripted and TCU 360 sports editor Ethan Love. Ethan, how are you doing today?
Great, guys. Just thank you for having me on. Excited to talk about the game and have a great time.
Yeah, excited to talk some TCU football. But yeah, we're just gonna start off with some questions. Michael, what do you got for Ethan?
Yeah, without further ado, we can hop out with this first one. What are your thoughts on Jack Hoover? Has he played well in the absence of Chandler Morris this season?
Okay, so Josh Hoover he started off amazing. His first start was against BYU, and he absolutely lit it up. I mean, I think he had the TCU record for most passing yards and first career start or something like that. But the last two games, he's kind of come back down to earth. I would say his biggest problem is kind of just the ill-timed interceptions. He might try to force a throw here and there. That's to be expected from a young quarterback. You know, I think we saw, even with y'all last week in Malik, had a couple turnovers. But Josh, I mean, for being a redshirt freshman, 3-star quarterback, he's been pretty good. And I think him and Chandler have played similarly as far as their play goes, but this might be Hoover's last start because I think Chandler might be on his way back.
Yeah. And Ethan, I'm going to ask you, who do you think can cause Texas some real problems on both sides of the balls? Who's the player that we're maybe not looking for right now that you think might creep up on Texas?
Well, someone that might fly under the radar just because I feel like a lot of our offenses spread the ball. We don't really have one big-name guy, is tight end Jared Wiley. He was at Texas, and he transferred. And this is his second year at TCU, and I think he's definitely our best receiving target and kind of end zone threat, and probably our best offensive weapon. And kind of it being more of a personal game, being that he transferred from Texas, might kind of juice him up a little bit more.
Yeah, he's a big guy out there, but yeah, it's a shame that he's back. You know, he's not at Texas anymore, but we do have a good tight end ourselves. But all right,
and then why do you think TCU has struggled this year, and do you think this team can eventually become bowl eligible?
Well, I'll start with the bowl eligible part. I mean, it's definitely not impossible, but, you know, having to play Texas, obviously, having to win 2 out of the next 3, having to play Texas and Oklahoma, even though Oklahoma has not really looked that great. They almost lost to UCF, and then they did lose to Kansas, but Kansas is a great football team, don't get me wrong. I would say it's an improbable to make a bowl game, and especially with Texas and Oklahoma. And then we also play Baylor, which that game's always close no matter what because it's kind of a rivalry game. So I would say it's improbable for us to make a bowl game now. We really dropped some earlier in the year that we should have won, like West Virginia, Iowa State, Texas Tech even. I mean, just games that we, before the season, expected to win pretty easily. But, you know, college football, that's not always how it goes. But for TCU, I think the main reason that they've struggled is just I really do think there's a lack of leadership. And me and the reporters have asked, like, hey, with kind of Max and Clinton and, you know, all the guys we had drafted last year, leaving after that incredible run we had, we're like, hey, is there a lack of leadership? And everyone's like, no. But the more that we've gone on in the year, they've been saying, like, oh, we kind of need, like, guys to step up. And I really just think, kind of talking to all the guys after every week and everything, that there might be a lack of leadership there. And so guys are going to need to step up and honestly step up quick if we want to make a bowl.
And then Ethan, who's a Texas player that you think could give TCU the most trouble in your opinion?
It's kind of basic, but I'm gonna say Quinn. I mean, coming off the injury, I think he is expected to play, and especially last year, that game you guys were playing for a conference championship, and you guys' offense really struggled. So I think he's going to be hungry to come out, especially off the injury, and kind of have a revenge game from last year.
Yeah.
All right, I mean, I can definitely see that. And then who has been the newcomer for TCU that has had the most impact for the Horned Frogs?
I would have to say J.P. Richardson, the transfer from Oklahoma State. I think he's, at this point, our number one option when it comes to at least targets and kind of just getting the ball in his hands, and now he's returning punts and stuff. So I think him transferring from Oklahoma State has been a huge help to our young quarterback room and even the receivers. He seems like a great teammate. And so, yeah, I would have to say him.
Yeah, and then lastly, Ethan, what's your prediction for Saturday?
I don't want to like be coping or anything, but I do think that this is a trap game for you guys. Do I think that we are going to come out and win? No, but I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people expect. And hey, we might pull off some improbable upset. I mean, we are 8-3 against y'all since joining the Big 12. I'll say that. And I mean, if we can kind of execute, our defense is a lot of the same from last year, honestly. And the fact that we were able to hold Bijan to 29 yards rushing was really impressive to me. And I think if our defensive coordinator, Joe Gillespie, can dial up a game plan similar to last year and kind of find a way to stop that offense, I think it'll be better. But I will say your guys' defense is a lot better than last year, especially your run defense. And we like to run the ball with Amani Bailey a lot. So it's going to be a good matchup. And plus, last week against Kansas State, an overtime win that kind of went the distance. I don't know. It just feels like a bit of a trap game for Texas, but I do think you guys win. I think I put my prediction. We do our predictions in our paper. I think I said like 28-17 or 28-24 or something like that. But I do think you guys will win, and you guys aren't coming in with the mentality either that, oh, it's TCU. Like, you guys have to win every game because you want to make the college football playoff. So Texas has that mentality that, hey, this is a must-win every week. So I think that helps them out a bit, too.
Yes, sir. Going to be a great one. Texas versus TCU, 6:30 on ABC. And that was Ethan Love, producer for The Unscripted and sports editor of TCU 360. Thank you for joining us today, Ethan. Hope you have a great weekend. And next up, we'll have NBA trivia on our D Block. Producer TJ Krylowitz will come on to give us some trivia. Should be fun. Don't miss it. joining us now is our producer, the one and only TJ Krylowitz. How are you doing this morning, TJ?
Doing fantastic, man. The lighting is fantastic on the show this week,
Lighting
don't y'all
is
think?
fantastic.
Oh yeah, we had to. We thought we were gonna have little complications, but we decided to add some more light and kind of just, glue
These
under.
journalism majors, man, they know how to do good lighting. They do good in reporting images.
And words. Don't forget about words. But all right, we got some NBA trivia today, TJ. What do you got for us?
All right, so some NBA trivia. We're flipping the sport for this week. Hopefully, Mike. Let's see if you can get some
At least get one
questions.
right. At least get one right.
So I have the first question. Start with something a little easy. Hopefully y'all know this question, but I'm going to ask, what team has the best win percentage in NBA history? The win percentage is at 60 or .603. So do we have A, is it the Boston Celtics, B, the San Antonio Spurs, C, the Los Angeles Lakers, or D, the Utah Jazz?
I really want to say the Boston Celtics, but I think I'm going to go with the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, I want to say Lakers or Celtics, but I really do think it's the Spurs, because they always especially since Pop took over, they've always had, besides maybe the last like 2 or 3 years.
And they were an expansion team. I don't know
Yeah.
when we're starting, like if the year matters. So I'm going to go.
I'm gonna agree with them and go with the Spurs.
Okay. They were technically an expansion team. They're an ABA team, if you remember that.
Yeah.
So you guys both want to go Spurs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, y'all are both 1 for 1. Going
go. I'm
into
already-
question
I'm
2.
already better than the baseball one. Let's go.
There we go, man. We're already improving. So the second question I have here is, which player? I have 4 players on this list. Which player on this list has the least amount of All-Star appearances with 12? This might surprise y'all. So we have A, Karl Malone, B, Magic Johnson, C, Michael Jordan, or D, Wilt Chamberlain.
Okay. Well, okay. I know what the answer is.
Oh, you know what the answer is?
I think.
He knows.
Okay.
Actually,
I don't.
Yeah, I
the
think
Wilt
I know.
Chamberlain. I don't know how they did All Stars back back when he played.
I don't know what the answer.
Honestly, I don't know. Crazy enough, I want to say Michael Jordan because
I
he
want to
wasn't in
too.
the league very long. He played like
The 12 seasons.
he
is what's
played
scary.
like yeah he
This is
played like. He played like
It is a
13
tough question.
season, and then he kind of he retired for a little bit. I think he played like a full 13 or 14 seasons.
I was gonna go with Michael Jordan.
I
based
was
off
gonna
some
go with
quick
Michael
math.
Jordan.
I'm
I was
gonna go with Michael Jordan
as well.
Y'all are both going Michael Jordan.
I think Magic Johnson, Karl Malone, and Wilt Chamberlain all had longer careers than Michael Jordan. Granted, Michael Jordan's a dominant player, one of the greatest of all time. Not number one. LeBron's number one, but I'm gonna go Michael Jordan.
Going with the
You're
goat, the real
going
goat.
Michael Jordan. So you said Michael Jordan because he had the shortest career, right?
I want to say Michael. I don't know if he has short.
Michael Jordan or Wilt.
Michael
or
Jordan.
Magic
Will. The crazy
Johnson.
thing is, it could be Magic Johnson too because he had a short career too. I don't know. I want to go with Michael Jordan.
Final guess is
Y'all are
Michael
both
Jordan.
going Michael
gonna
Jordan.
go final
Okay,
guess
all
Michael
right.
Jordan.
I'm done with it. All right, the answer is not Michael Jordan. Another MJ on the list.
Magic
It's
Johnson.
Magic
Oh my God,
Johnson.
what
He
the-
had a shorter career than MJ.
I thought he had a longer career. I mean, I forgot that he had the whole. I'm not gonna say it, but I forgot he had the whole complications with the thing. I
He
wanted to
had
say
a shorter
those.
career. Karl Malone had 13, Magic Johnson at 12, Michael Jordan at 13, and Wilt Chamberlain at 14.
The seasons what got me. I thought maybe he just didn't make it his rookie year because I knew he played 13. But
Oh man.
moving on.
Pretty crazy, pretty crazy. All right. So now we got another one that I think this is my favorite question out of the 5 questions. So Ish Smith.
God.
Ish Smith, the ultimate journeyman in NBA history. He's played for 13 teams in his career, almost half the teams. Which team on this list has he not played for yet? Is it A, the Philadelphia 76ers, B, the Oklahoma City Thunder, C, the Denver Nuggets, or D, the Sacramento Kings?
Ooh, I know Ish Smith. I know he was in the Thunder because I remember him on in 2K14. I'm pretty sure my player was in the Thunder. I remember Ish Smith being on the team. I know he's played for the Kings. I'm pretty sure it's sitting between the Nuggets and the Sixers. Oh, unless I'm wrong. I think I played for the Sixers. I know I'm between the Nuggets and the Kings.
I'm gonna go with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Oh, you're going with the Sixers.
NBA
the
crossover.
Sixers.
NBA crossover grid legend Ish Smith.
76ers. I don't want to go with the same guess as you again, so I'm gonna. Let's go with the Nuggets. I want to say the Nuggets.
Nuggets?
I don't think he was in the Nuggets.
So you picked the Sixers, you picked the
I
Nuggets.
Yes.
Alrighty, final answers are locked in, and the answer is D, the Sacramento Kings.
I was between the Nuggets and
The
the
Nuggets,
Kings.
he played for the Nuggets for half a season last year, so
won
he
a-
has
Are you
a ring.
kidding?
He won a ring.
my
I knew that.
God. I didn't even know he was on that team.
I knew he won a ring, but I thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was the 76ers. I, did
I
not think it
didn't
was the
know he
Kings.
was on the. See, oh my
I could
God.
have sworn he was on the Kings.
He
man.
won a ring with the Nuggets last season. So the next question
Congratulations to him.
is which? Okay, wait, real quick. So you have. Okay, so it's both 1-1. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the fourth question: which team has gone the longest without a playoff appearance? We have A, the Detroit Pistons, B, the Indiana Pacers, C, the San Antonio Spurs, or D, the Charlotte Hornets.
Is this like recently or like all time?
Longest without a playoff appearance recently.
Like, recently. Okay, so I know. Okay, so the.
Okay.
Okay.
Like the current active.
Yeah.
Okay.
Detroit played LeBron first round 2015. I know that. Charlotte Hornets played 2016 against the Heat in the second round. So
Purple
that's
shirt
15
guy.
and 16. Yeah, purple shirt guy. The Spurs, I actually don't think they've been in the playoffs since they lost. Oh, no. 2017. Is it the Pacers? This is
I'm
hard.
gonna go with the Charlotte Hornets.
You want to go with the Hornets?
Yeah.
I know the Spurs were in 2017. I think that was the last time they were in. Pacers, were they just in it? I don't know.
The pace is narrow.
I'm not asking you,
Siri.
Siri. I'm going to go with the Hornets, the Pistons. I'm going to go with the Pistons.
I feel pretty confident in
Pistons?
my
You feel
answer.
confident with the Hornets?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the... I feel like it's Pistons or Hornets. I feel like they were in the same time. I want to go Pistons.
Pistons. All right, y'all both got the answers locked in. The answer is D, the
Let's go.
Charlotte Hornets.
Because the Pistons had Blake Griffin.
Alright.
2018, they made the playoffs.
Oh,
So the last time the Pistons made the
2020,
playoffs
right?
was 2019.
Oh.
The last
Okay.
time that the Pacers made the playoffs was the bubble in 2020. The last time the Spurs made the playoffs was 2019, and the last time the Hornets made the playoffs was 2016.
So I was right about when they were there. I just didn't know
Yes.
they were the last one. I'm pissed.
Alrighty, so Mike, come on, man, you gotta
I gotta do
believe
better.
in you. You're gonna get this one right. I believe in you. The last question, tie it up. Who has the highest free throw percentage in NBA history? We have 4 really good answers right here. Do we have? Or the first one is Stephen Curry. The second one is Dirk Nowitzki. The third one is Granny Shot Rick Barry. And the last one will be Steve Nash. Fellas,
This is a hard question. But I don't think it's Dirk. I don't think it's Steph Curry.
My gut's going with Steve Nash. I'm locking in D. Steve Nash.
I want to go with Steve Nash too.
Not gonna think about it.
I'm gonna take Steve Nash because that's who I think is
he
the
said
answer.
Steve
I honestly
Nash.
think
Now
Steve
you got to
Nash.
go with someone
No,
else.
No, he's got to go with someone else. I'm locking in with Steve Nash. I know. I'm not gonna start throwing out just random stuff. I'm just, I'm locking in with what my
don't
gut. My
wanna
gut's
lose.
saying Steve Nash. I gotta listen to my gut.
I don't
for
want to
once.
lose. I was also gonna go with Steve Nash.
All right, y'all locked it in?
I don't
Alrighty.
want to change it last second.
It is Steph Curry.
Oh my God! I thought he didn't think. I didn't
Steph Curry.
think. I didn't think he was gonna be number one. I thought.
With 90.91 for his career free throw percentage. Man, I got to start making these questions a little easier, I guess.
Apparently.
Dang.
I'm glad I at least got one right from the baseball mishap.
Yep, you got the one right at least. That one was, which one was that? The winning
first-
percentage?
Winning
All right.
percentage.
Well, that was pretty good, y'all.
Would have been. It wouldn't have been as exciting if it was easy, but
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true, that's true,
I guess
that's
that
true.
is true. That it does make it a fun factor. I love the Ish Smith question, man. But anyways, all right. So the
Smith
winner
question.
goes to Santi for this.
2-0 today. All right, TJ, thank you for joining us. In our
Man.
next block, we will have Grabriel back on for some pick'ems. You don't want to miss it. All this and more coming up on the 1-0 Sports Show. Welcome back to the 1-0 Sports Show. We are joined again by Grabriel Silva, and let's get into some pick'ems. So starting off, we're going to start off with the NFL. The Houston Texans are playing at the Cincinnati Bengals. Who do you got in this one, Grabriel?
I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow, he's finding his stride, after the calf injury he had. I believe it was a calf injury.
Yeah.
And, he's finding his stride, finding his groove. Some of his weapons are questionable, but we'll have to see how it goes. But I believe that they'll take care of business against the Texans.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with that there. I think the Texans are a hot team right now, but I think they're going on the road against the Bengals. The Bengals are also a pretty hot team. They're in the AFC North, which right now, if the playoffs start right now, every team in that division would make it. So I think the Bengals win at home.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going with Bengals this one. C.J. Stroud, he's in the MVP conversation. Texans are playing well, but this is going to be a game that brings them a little bit down back to earth. They're going to be a solid team, but I don't think they're going to get the wins this week. For the next game we have is the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to start this one off. I got the Ravens at home. They've been rolling. They are just crushing good opponents they play. Although I think the Browns are going to make it a close game, I just can't pick against them at home. The way they've been playing the last few weeks, give me the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go Ravens, too. I think they're the best team in football right now. So, I mean, they're very hot. Lamar at healthy is a very scary person to see. So, I mean, yeah, I'm going to go with the Ravens at home.
If there's one team hotter than the Bengals right now, it's going to be the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, he's starting to, figure things out. They have a good rushing attack with Gus Edwards. The defense is doing really good. And, Lamar Jackson, he's just doing his own thing. So I believe that the Ravens are going to get things done at home against a very good Cleveland Browns team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Moving on to our third game, we have the San Francisco 49ers coming off a 2-game skid at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mike, let's start off with you. Who do you have on this one?
I think the Niners, they're really falling off right now. And they're dealing with some injuries. Brock Purdy's not being what Brock Purdy's been since he kind of stepped in as Mr. Relevant. So, and the Jags have been a pretty hot team. I think the Jags are definitely on the come up right now. Trevor Lawrence is definitely playing like a franchise QB for them right now. So I'm going to go with the Jags at home.
I'm going to have to agree with that pick, too. I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence, just like a lot of AFC quarterbacks now, they're starting to find their stride now midway through the season. And, the Niners, they've been slipping. And I think they might come off a little bit more lackluster off the bye week. So I'm going to go with the Jags.
Both teams coming off of a bye. I'm going to go with the favorites. I'm going to go with the 49ers. Get some rest. Trent Williams will be back healthy. Debo is questionable to play. I think they're going to have to bounce back in this game, and they're going to show that they're one of the best teams in the NFL. Give me the Niners. All right, New Orleans Saints at the Minnesota Vikings. Grabriel, let's start off with you. Who do you got winning this one?
I was torn on this game because, both teams are not too good. I was leaning towards the Saints, but then I remembered the amazing story of Josh Dobbs. I believe Josh Dobbs is going to get things done for the Vikings this weekend. How can you not root for that guy? He's kind of like a new journeyman in the NFL, and, he stepped in last week, gave the Vikings a key win, and I think he's going to get it done again this week against the Saints.
I'm going to have to disagree with that strictly because I think people are underestimating how much of an impact Kirk Cousins actually had for the Vikings' success on offense. I mean, I think he's actually a really good quarterback. I mean, yeah, he is the best receiver in football. To throw the ball to, he's always open. But at the same time, I think with that injury is really going to put the Vikings down this year. I don't think that the QB is going to get it done. I think the Saints – I also like the Saints' defense this year, so I really got to go with – I'm going with Saints win on the road.
Yeah, Saints are a little bit too inconsistent for me. Coming off the great win that they had last week, I'm going to take the Vikings. Moving on to the game of the week in the NFL, we have the Detroit Lions at the Los Angeles Chargers, 3 o'clock on CBS. Grabriel, who do you have winning this one?
I'm going to have to go with the Detroit Lions. They're kind of like my sleeper in the NFC. I mean, you have the Eagles, the Niners, the Cowboys, but, nobody really talks about the Lions. I think they're going to, make some noise, especially this week against a good Chargers team. So I have to go with the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with the Lions, too. I think the Lions, the Chargers are always a team that they're just so iffy. They're really just, they seem like a team that should win 12, 13 games a season, and then they end up winning 9 or 10. So, and I think the Lions are a very hot team, like Gabriel was saying, so I'm going to go with the Lions, too.
Yeah, just last pick, I was talking about inconsistency, something the Chargers has labeled as. For the last 5 games, they've won 3 out of 2, with just losses to a good Cowboys team and a great Chiefs team. So I am going to take the Chargers. Lions, they're my Who's Hot team twice. Both times I picked them, they lost. So I'm going to take the Chargers on this one. But let's move over to some college football. We got number 3 Michigan at Penn State. This is Michigan's first big test of the season. Mike, who do you have winning this one?
People are going to hate on it. I think Penn State's a pretty good football team, and I think they're gonna. It's gonna be a packed stadium. I mean, it's gonna be. I wish it was a night game so you can really get that feeling of that crowd. That whiteout would have been insane. But I think Penn State's gonna shock some people, and I really want Penn State to win. Let's get Michigan out the college football race here. But I mean, I'm gonna go with Penn State.
These matchups are starting to get good in college football. The weather's changing. It's a little cool outside. This is prime time November football. And it starts early Saturday morning against Penn State and Michigan. I wanted to go with a safe pick in Michigan, but I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing a couple upsets, with this slate that we have here. But for this pick, I'm going to have to go with Michigan.
I agree. I would not mind seeing any upsets, but I'm going to go with Michigan. Their defense hasn't allowed more than 13 points all year. In their last matchup against Ohio State, Penn State, they were only able to score 12 points. Give me Michigan's defense. Can't trust Penn State's offense. Moving on, number 18, Utah, playing at number 5, Washington. Grabriel, who's going to come out on top?
Again, another good game, but Utah, they've been without their quarterback Cam Rising all season, and it's shown all year long like how much of a difference their team is without him. So again, I have to pick Washington here. I would like to see them lose. Helps Texas' playoff chances, but I'm going to go with Washington.
Yeah, I have to agree with that there. I think like you said, Cam Rising being out, they're definitely a different football team without him. And Michael Penix Jr. has definitely been a Heisman candidate this year. Washington's a very strong team. It would be great to see Washington lose. It would be great for like you said, it'd be great for Texas college football chances. But I'm going to go with Washington here at home.
Yeah, I'm going to have to also go with Washington, our third sweep so far. But I think that Utah, Nate Johnson, he stepped in for Cameron Rising. He's been okay. But I just don't think they're going to be able to get it done. I think Washington at home, it's going to be their first home game in a little bit, and they have a lot to prove. There's been a lot of doubters on them since the Oregon game, since they pulled that game out. They've been struggling. I just have to go with Washington. I can't trust Utah. Tennessee at Missouri. Missouri coming off a rough loss to Georgia. This game is 2:30 CBS, that prime CBS slot. Who do you guys got winning this one, Grabriel?
This is a really good SEC middle of the day game. November football at its finest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is really a huge coin toss. I mean, Tennessee, they're good, but on the road they kind of struggle. Missouri, they hung in with Georgia for probably like 3.5 quarters. So I mean, I'm gonna lean towards Missouri here. A little bit of a different matchup. I would like to see Tennessee win so we can get they can get some momentum going into Georgia next week. But I'm gonna have to choose Missouri.
I have to agree with that. I think Missouri, I think they're actually a really good football team. I thought they were going to get exposed by Georgia when they went in there, but they only lost. They had a chance to win that game. I really think this Missouri team is actually a pretty good football team. They're at home, too. I think Tennessee's kind of lackluster on defense like they were last year. I think they carry that over this year. But I'm going to have to go with Missouri here.
Yeah, I am going to have to flip the script. I also think Missouri is a legit football team. I think they are a really good team, but I think coming off that loss to Georgia, they're going to be a little bit beat down. It was a rough performance in the last 5 minutes of the game, and I'm going to go with Tennessee, the Vols, Josh Heupel, Joe Milton. They're going to get it done on the road. All right, moving on to the primetime SEC game on ESPN, 6 o'clock. We have number 9 Ole Miss at number 2 Georgia. Lots of controversy surrounding the Ole Miss program right now. Who do you got, Mike?
I'm going to have to go, as much as I want to see Ole Miss come around and knock off Georgia and really kind of also help UT's football chances, I think Georgia's a better football team, especially at home right now. I think Georgia still is a really good football team. I mean, they're back-to-back champions. I think Ole Miss is also a good football team, but they've shown that they against a really good team like in Alabama, they couldn't get it done, especially because they're going on the road. I'm going to go Georgia at home.
I mean, this game, it's also another toss-up. Ole Miss, they've been doing really good. Their only loss is against a really good Alabama team that's been on the rise. But this game it's going to be played between the hedges in Athens. So I think Georgia's going to get the win. I hope it's a really good, really close game. Everybody roots for upsets, but I'm gonna go with the safe pick in Georgia this week.
Yeah, I agree. We had a lot of toss-ups, a lot of safe picks, and again, I don't think I can pick Ole Miss to win this game. I'm gonna have to go with Georgia at home. They really need to make that point that they are a top team. Kirby Smart, he does a lot to motivate his players. He told the players last year, people predicted them to go 5-7. They won a national championship game, but they really need to prove that they're the number 1 team. They've been ranked number 2, and I think they're going to do that in this game, winning big against Ole Miss. Give me Georgia. All right, and then for our last game, we have the Texas Longhorns going on the road, primetime, 6:30 on ABC against the TCU Horned Frogs. Who do you have in this one, Grabriel?
Well, going into Fort Worth, it brings a little, like a shiver in my spine. It's especially at night, going to be a real close. It felt like it was going to be a really close game. And then yesterday we got the news that Quintavious Quinn Ewers is going to be back on the field leading the Longhorns. I mean, Malik Murphy did great. He did what he was asked to do in the last two games. But Quinn's back, and my confidence is shot up. 3 more games left. Quinn coming off the injury. I think he's gonna prove it now mentality. And I'm gonna have to go with Texas this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. I'm not as scared as Fort Worth at night as I am at Ames at night.
Yeah,
I think Ames is our trap. I think Iowa State's our trap game, not TCU. But again, you can't sleep on this TCU team. Like you mentioned before, our guest, he said they're 8-3 against us in the Big 12 since they joined. We're gonna flip that script in this last game and really take this win. Texas has found a great way to start the game by covering the spread, like they're gonna cover this, like they're gonna beat the spread, and then somehow it ends up being a close game at the end. But I think Texas does pull this one off. I do think it'll be a 1-score game though.
Yeah, this game kind of reminds me a bit of the Baylor game. An opponent Texas has struggled with over the since Baylor has joined the Big 12. But I'm gonna go with the Texas Longhorns. Quinn Ewers is back. Sarkisian said in practice there wasn't a throw that he couldn't make. He's fully healthy. He's ready to go out there. It's gonna be a night game. We're gonna they're gonna elevate their play. But we talked to Ethan Love. Not a lot of buzz going around the program. Not a lot of people think TCU can pull it off, even in Fort Worth. Give me the Longhorns. But that is going to be it for this morning. Be sure to tune in next week at 10 a.m. And be sure to check out our sister shows, College Practice Ball, Monday nights at 9 p.m. and College Crossfire, Wednesday nights at 9. Have a great day, everybody. Hope you have a great feel-good Friday. And tune back in next week for more Want to Know Sports Show. Thank you guys for watching.